So I've told you what doesn't work. Why? You need to unlearn some of what you've learned, and if you haven't learned it, just realize that it's wrong in case somebody else learned what doesn't work. Okay, we've corrected that. So what does work? Well, it turns out there is a metric that I would recommend. It's called brand lift. And interestingly enough, the woman who is now the CEO of YouTube is the one who first proposed it before she became CEO of YouTube. And it's called brand lift. And how does it work? Well, the interesting thing is, and she created it for advertising, but we'll show you how you can use it for even organic kind of results. But in an advertising campaign, what they would do is they would show an ad to a target audience, but they would take a sample of that target audience, a small one, and set it aside, and they would call that the hold back group. In other words, they held it back. And they would not show the ad to that group. And then using something called Google surveys, which we'll talk about more, they would then survey both groups, people who had seen the ad, people who hadn't seen the ad, within days of the ad running, and basically ask them several questions. One of those questions had to do with brand awareness. One of those questions had to do with purchase preference. One of those had to do with ad recall. Another one had to do with consideration or favorability. And oh, by the way, because they were YouTube and they were owned by Google, they could also correlate, are there an increase in searches for the brand after the campaign ran? So they literally could look at user behavior and see people searching for a particular brand before the campaign and after the campaign. And again, within days, could deliver a report to an advertiser saying, here's your brand lift. Now, pardon me, that's measuring brand awareness. And oh, by the way, the other important things you should be measuring at the same time, including, frankly, purchase intent. It's not just about awareness, it's about preference. You know, are you convincing me to say, you know, I hadn't really been thinking about buying that brand, but now I'm leaning more towards it. That's the importance, frankly, of the so-called brand awareness metric. If you bundle it together into brand lift, now you're measuring the right thing.